Chapel.
Good morning, Wabash. Today, speaking at Pioneer Chapel is Wabash College President Gregory Hess. Dr. Gregory D. Hess is completing his 7th and final year as the 16th president of Wabash College. Arriving in 2013, President Hess articulated a vision for Wabash based on 5 strategic objectives: demonstrating the value of a Wabash liberal arts education, developing leadership potential in all Wabash men, extending the academic and geographic footprint of the college, enhancing the culture of philanthropy, and embracing a culture of continuous improvement. The college has made great strides in all 5 areas over the last 7 years, including constructing the Ott Residential Life District and renovating Martindale Hall, adding several new interdisciplinary majors and minors, including PPE and computer science, establishing Wabash X initiatives in business and entrepreneurship, democracy and public discourse, global health, and digital arts, solidifying the college's financial foundation, expanding and endowing the college's immersion learning programs, achieving #1 national rankings for the Wabash Alumni Network and Internship Program, and launching the Giant Steps campaign, the largest fundraising effort in the college's history. President Hess will be leaving Wabash this summer to become CEO of IES Abroad, one of the nation's largest study abroad and internship providers. With his chapel talk entitled A Mission with Ambition, please welcome President Gregory Hess.
Thank you, and good morning, Wabash. Have you ever taken a giant step? Not because you are looking for something epic or because you've been up too late, but have you simply taken a giant step because you were inspired and it reminded you why you are alive? I recommend it. It's what brought me and my family to Wabash College. I had known about Wabash for some time. I had worked with and known 2 great alums. One was Bill Lowry, class of 1963, who was vice president of advancement at Claremont McKenna College when I was the dean of the faculty. The other was Todd Clark, class of 1985, who I overlapped with in the Federal Reserve System and who is now a senior VP and research economist at the Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland. Both are great writers, smart thinkers, and tenacious. I have come to learn that these are hallmarks of Wabash men. Of course, in the search interview, the committee got around to the question of Wabash being a college for men. I told them that being a college for men was part of the fundamental narrative of the college, and that's not something you can change. I also told them that I had attended all-boys Catholic schools from the age of 4 until the age of 18, so that Wabash as a college for men had a familiarity with me. I understood the college's mission, or so I thought. I knew I would never change the college's mission, but understanding it and articulating it were different and separate matters. And it would turn out I was not alone in my sojourn. Jim Amadon, who has helped me in everything I have done at Wabash, arranged to get a group of faculty members to sit down with me to build out my understanding of educating young men. One thing I will never forget: Professor Eric Olafson said, "Wabash College is the one place that asks each young man, what kind of man do you want to be?" Eric was right and is right, and a marketing campaign was born. Here is the crispest version of the argument that many of you have heard from me before, although sometimes in different pieces. Young men, broadly speaking, have not suffered historic disadvantage. Indeed, quite the opposite. But if you look at the emerging difference in educational outcomes from high school to college to graduate school, men are no longer the horses to bet on. There is evidence to back this up from sociologists who look at the transition from boys to men, neuroscience evidence on brain development, and social science evidence on the disproportionate negative effect that young men experience when family structures break down. Too many young men are underserved by our current system of education and underempowered to take on meaningful and positive roles in our societies and communities. I don't think that we as a society ask young men what kind of men do they want to be, and I am certain that we don't give them the tools to truly answer it. Here's a quick gut check. Moms and dads, are you more worried about your sons or your daughters? A second example springs from a chapel talk I gave several years ago. The movie Boyhood is a 2014 film that was shot with the same actors for 13 years from the year 2001 to the year 2013. It follows the life of a young boy named Mason Evans Jr. all the way through his very first day at university. Mason's father abandons the family when he is young. He re-enters the picture later with a new family. At first blush, Mason Jr.'s next two stepfathers seem fine on the outside, but turn out to be toxic cocktails of domestic violence and alcohol. The movie ends with Mason going to college and blowing off his freshman orientation with his roommate in order to take acid and hike in a desert landscape with two young women they have just met. Mason's feckless decision-making would not get him rung in at Wabash College, but the movie is a prominent artistic interpretation of what society considers to be our collective story of boyhood. Now, I have 5 rules of management. You don't get to hear them all today. One of them, however, is don't bring me a problem without bringing me a solution. So here it is. There is one place where young men are served and empowered by their education. That's Wabash. Student-centered faculty, teachers, scholars form close relationships with students. There are no back rows to slouch in and no lazy rivers to float down. Our gentleman's rule anchors a holistic education that connects critical thinking to responsible citizenship, humane action, and effective leadership. And a liberal arts education provides our young men with the simple gifts to better navigate our world, to act, to see, and to speak. Our liberal arts education is both a timeless immersion into the intellectual canon, but it is also a timely pathway to engage with the world as it is now. Another way to think about it is that Wabash solves the empowerment gap for young men with what I call the 3 R's: responsibility, resilience, and reflection. Responsibility first. Students here are citizens first. They are expected to manage their houses and govern student organizations and clubs. There's also a lot of coursework here at Wabash, and students need to stay on top of it. Wabash classes are difficult, and Wabash men own all of this as part of their responsibility at the college. Resilience. We know that we all fall down. That is not the question. The question each of us faces is, will you get up? Wabash always fights is not randomly our mantra here. When you are down, you need to find that little extra, that 1.5. That works at Wabash, and it works in life too. A lot of resilience comes from building up your own team, your friends, your buddies, your family, your coach, your glee club director, ad infinitum. Those people who support your physical and mental well-being. There is more than one way to get back up, but you need to pick one. The third and final R is reflection. It is a hectic, anxious, fraught, and fractured world. People are busy, busy, and busier still. That's our society's presumed benchmark for success. I am guilty as charged. And we are bombarded with news, troll farms, social media, spam calls, etc. But there is a stillness at Wabash College that benefits young minds and allows young men to figure out and hear their calling. That's always been a hallmark of a Wabash education, fully supported by a broad liberal arts curriculum and student-centered faculty, coaches, and staff. Asking important questions requires reflection. So it took me a while to figure out the best way to talk about our great mission and to put it in a modern, forward-looking context. But it was not the first problem I tried to tackle at Wabash. We needed our swagger back. We needed pride. We had to stop looking to our best days in the rearview mirror. We needed an ambition to be on par with our great mission. It had to be one part desire and one part accomplishment. And in a perfect world, the two parts would be the same. For many years, there was a sign on campus that said, Wabash College, a liberal arts college for men. I gave a speech that had, as part of its title, From A to The. I didn't want to be a liberal arts college for men. I wanted to be the liberal arts college for men. From A to The represented to everyone that Wabash was the best at holistically educating young men, and that we were not here looking for 13th place participation ribbons. We came to win. Of course, our marketing experts and many others said, hey, there are two problems with the liberal arts college for men. And there are two things that society doesn't really want to talk about. You guessed it, liberal arts and young men. But reminding you of my earlier management rule that if you bring me a problem, you need to bring me a solution, the consultants got to keep their job. Here's why. They said that we always introduce ourselves as a college by explaining why we are great and then end with that we are great. And that in order to be more effective at communicating our mission and ambition, we needed to reverse the order. Just a pure tactical change. So when a prospective student asks, why should I attend Wabash College? The answer is because Wabash will provide you the best education. Period. When that prospective student follows up with, why are you the best? Here's the answer. Because we provide an exceptional liberal arts experience with dedicated student-centered teacher scholars, and that we have holistic education that is supported by conduct in the gentleman's rule. We had to answer the what question before the why question, and then we had to back it up with evidence, lots of it. That's why you have only one college in the nation made all of these best of lists. Best access to professors, best classroom experience, best professors, best financial aid, best college newspaper, best health services, best run college, best internship program, best career services, best career placement, best alumni network, highest alumni salaries, happiest and successful alumni. Only one college, Wabash. Shouldn't we be on your list? It's why we talk about our commitment to student equity, inclusion, and diversity by joining the American Talent Initiative, why we are now a top supplier of Fulbright Fellowship Award winners, why you can add up all the Rhodes Scholars from Indiana colleges other than IU and Notre Dame, and the sum. That's a lot of great colleges, everyone. The sum of every college in Indiana other than IU and IU and Notre Dame, and the sum is less than that from Wabash College. or the great work that the CIBE does to help our 6-month post-graduation settlement rate, or that the Global Health Initiatives does in supporting local health care and our lofty medical school placements, or the WDPD's commitment to serving communities by facilitating difficult conversation. Here's the clincher. We have the #1 ranked alumni association. Partners, families, and friends too. All volunteers. They have responsibilities. They have family things to do, businesses, kids playing sports, and lawns that do not mow themselves. Volunteers don't lie. The Wabash Nation gives back because they are grateful for a life that has been changed by a Wabash education. Gratefulness is our currency. We must continue to lead with our greatness, explain why we are great, and back it up with facts. Keep getting better, then do it again. A truly virtuous cycle. So, a forward-looking mission with a large dollop of ambition. Each of us is little. Together we are great. Giants. This will be my last opportunity to address Wabash other than graduation. And I want to close with giant thanks from Laura and me. When Laura and I took this giant step to come to Wabash, we had no idea how much it would change our lives. There is so much grace, joy, and sense of purpose here at Wabash, it is simply beyond our ability to measure it. That's why we have always said that we have 2 daughters, Abby and Meredith, and 900 sons. To the students of Wabash, you bring energy and passion to the college. You are our life force and our epistles. We know this now that we have conducted part of a semester without you, but only with you virtually. You are truly the foundation of our great college, and I thank each and every student for the men you are and the men you are to be. To the class of 2020 in particular, I know a virtual graduation will not make it on your lifetime highlight reel, and that it is a bittersweet time for you compared to how you envisioned your post-spring break senior year. But more often than not, from sadness emerges joy, from despair grows hope, and from anger spurs joy. You will find it in time because everything in life that happens to you is a resource. Please use it wisely. To the faculty, your dedication to students and scholarship is sincere, substantive, and substantial. It is truly the antidote to the cynical era in which we find ourselves. Please continue to press our college ahead in the classroom to refine your craft and your insights and to share them with our students. To the coaches and staff, you have our complete admiration. Like our faculty, you hold to the dual vision of putting students first while treating them as citizens. You do a lot of the heavy lifting for the college and support our students during their highs as well as their lows. You have our most generous thanks. To the alumni, friends, and families who love Wabash, how can you be better than #1? You have been hardworking and generous in every way to make this college a continued force in higher education in Indiana, but most important, in the lives of our current students. I can't help you to get a higher ranking than #1, but I will offer a reminder and get the line right this time. The greatest gift we gave you was each other. Call a classmate, another parent maybe that you used to sit and tailgate with at Little Giant Stadium. Call a fraternity brother, a friend from the MXIBS, a fellow member of the Glee Club. Stay connected. Remember, we are little, together we are giants. To the senior staff, you put up with my 5 management rules and the 3 U's of leadership. Special words like crisp and nimble and light, and book readings on management and leadership during our retreats. We managed to stay upbeat in almost every situation, to be unflappable in the foxhole when times were difficult, and to be undaunted in making tough decisions that would ultimately strengthen the college. Just for the record, those are the 3 U's, everyone. Upbeat, unflappable, and undaunted, the 3 U's of leadership. You have been a strong and trusted team. That will continue under President Feller's exceptional leadership. A word of warning, however, you should probably, and this goes to my senior staff, you should probably all learn the song someday, both verses, in case my wild idea of having faculty, staff, chapel sing on the mall ever becomes a reality. I've been pushing it, but I've not gotten the votes yet. To the Board of Trustees, thank you for the trust you placed in me and for supporting me when my West Coast offense in a Woody Hayes world went a little too no huddle as well. You have been repeatedly and exceedingly generous and committed to the cause. I knew all along I could never love the college as much as you did. But thank you for trusting me to make the decisions and investing in them to ensure that there would be a Wabash College to love well into our 3rd century. Special thanks to Steve Bowen and Jay Allen, the board chairs that I have worked closely with, and to Kevin Clifford for leading the search committee that started my giant step to Wabash College. Finally, I would like to thank Laura for joining me in this giant step. Almost all of the earlier ones I've taken in my life, this next one, and who knows how many more. I'm sure I know her answer. I'm sure we'll talk about it. To quote Shakespeare, if love is not assembling a replica of Emirates Stadium where my favorite professional soccer team, Arsenal, plays from a micro Lego set, then I don't know what is. That's a direct quote from the Bard, everyone. Suffice it to say, Laura, you are sunlight on the morning. And again, everyone, being the president of Wabash College has been a thrill of a lifetime, and you have my giant and heartfelt thanks.
Thank you, President Hess. One quick announcement. We ask that you please continue to go online to the Wabash College calendar at www.wabash.edu/calendar for the latest updates regarding online events and activities, including this evening's annual awards chapel and the virtual commencement ceremony scheduled for May 17th. A link is also available on the page to subscribe to a daily email with the full schedule and links to each event for that day. Now, wherever you might be watching, please rise and join in the singing of Old Wabash.